called Araby by James Joyce, and it's about a young boy who's about to go into adolescence and lose his childhood innocence, and he has a crush on his best friend's sister, who is much older than him. So we have a couple questions to get us started thinking about the things that we're going to be reading about today. So the first question, think about your childhood innocence. When did you lose it? Well, first of all, what is our childhood innocence?
It's your it's like your knowledge.
Your sense of wrong and right.
Yeah, it's like
your sense of wrong and right.
It's like when you find out you're naive or something like that.
You find out you're naive, Alicia? You want to add?
Yes. When you change your view on the world, when you think when you realize that it's a bad place, and not just all good.
Yeah, so we find out that there's evils in the world. Not do we necessarily think that the world's a bad place, at least it has some bad in it. Do we think the world has some good in it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so just you realize the evils in the world and it's not all just good and nice. Does anybody remember when they lost their childhood innocence when something happened?
I kind of believe that we don't lose our childhood innocence totally, because especially when we experience new exciting things, we always have a sense of wonder in it, and we always left breathless and wondering how is it done and why is it this way.
That's good. We're always left wondering. We're always kind of still learning and experiencing new things. Yes,
I feel like it kind of gets gradually faded out over time, or maybe a little bit's left over. Because you know how sometimes you want to believe something's good, but then in the back of your mind, it's probably not. It's that initial reaction that's kind of retaining a little bit of innocence there.
Yeah. Did we learn about ourselves? Remember we talked about yesterday that experiences helps us become self-aware and help discover ourselves. So did we learn anything bad about ourselves, or did we just learn that there's good stuff in us?
Good and bad.
Good and bad. So we start to see that the world is an ambiguous place. Does anybody else have a time they can remember when they lost their childhood innocence, or have any 2 cents? Denise?
When I stopped believing in Santa Claus.
Yeah.
I think in 4th grade, this kid told me Santa Claus wasn't real. It was 4th grade. I believed in Santa Claus for a long time. And then I was like, yes, he is. And they're like, no, he's not. And they all ganged up on me and told me he's not. And then I asked my mom. She said,
How did you feel when you found out that Santa Claus
Whoa, back up. It's not real.
See, this is what I mean. We all know at this point for the most part, whereas in 2nd grade, there would be some of your peers who would still believe in him. So at some point, we've all lost a little bit of our childhood innocence, whether it's we no longer believe in Santa Claus, or we now know that the world's not a perfect place, and there's going to be hardships, it's not going to be easy, and tra-la-la. Like our childhood, we don't have any responsibilities.
I don't think you ever have to lose it, because as long as you can still be shocked or appalled when you saw some sort of innocence, unless you're a completely cynical person, then you have some sort of.
So we're all still kind of innocent and gaining experience. House?
Is cynical. Yes, no childhood innocence at all.
Whose house?
Show.
I'm not, I guess, it's into the... What is it?
It's a doctor show, but it's not really about the medicine. It's more about the characters.
And they're always...
Dr. House, he's a really good doctor, but he doesn't care about people at all, which is kind of ironic because doctors are supposed to care about you.
Yeah, so maybe it's saying, why does he go into medicine then in the show?
It's really funny.
He enjoys
And the whole time people are trying to figure out why House is the way he is.
I think he kind of does have some childhood innocence in him, though. Just because he enjoys the puzzle.
He's just a quirky.
Yeah,
He likes to mess with
well,
people, too.
Yeah, well, House, you can see that he really does care, underneath it all. But then,
Yes.
outwardly, he's
He
really
really tries to
cynical. So
hide
if
it.
you ignore that,
He really tries to hide
it's
his
fun.
caringness.
Does it blend into why he's trying to hide that he has these feelings, or is it more of just part of the mystery of watching the show? So, going with the Diary of Adam and Eve that we read the day before yesterday, what happens when you lose your innocence? What does it make you capable of doing?
Sin.
Yeah, sinning. So it's harder for you to sin before you start to lose your innocence, and the more you lose your innocence, the easier it is to kind of sin. So it's taking a little different direction. How was high school different from what you thought it would be when you were in middle school?
A lot.
I know for me, how many of you ever watched Saved by the Bell?
Oh, yeah.
Screech.
When I watched that show when I was little, I thought high school was going to be just like that, and I got to high school and it definitely wasn't. We couldn't play pranks with the principal. There wasn't, this this cafe that we went to after school. So I was kind of disappointed.
Locker, yeah.
I don't know, does anybody else feel like disappointed, or was somebody, Nico?
I feel disappointed. Well, I got here this semester my freshman year, and I got here and I noticed that we had no lockers standing beside. And,
Yeah.
Nowhere to sit down beside your locker. But I like the fact that we have recess, so that's why we have time to be around each other and all that. We talk.
Socialize.
And we have good socializing, and that's why I like talking. So it was somewhat like what I was dreaming, but afterwards when I noticed that we had new lockers, it was nothing like I thought it would be anymore.
Yeah, because you get that image of a locker in your head when you think about high school.
When I
It's kind of
first day of school, I thought I was like, where are the lockers?
Alicia?
I thought the upperclassmen were gonna beat up the freshmen, because that's how it's always portrayed in movies, and so I was scared.
But when you came and you found out you were going to get beat up, how did you feel?
Really?
Yeah. How many of you were scared of high school when you came in?
I was, my sister was.
Oh, they yelled at us the first day.
Yeah,
They're like, listen up, you Ali Manu kids.
Yes.
I'm gonna watch your crap anymore.
I remember that.
My dad was gonna talk to the school board because Mr. Stevens did that.
He doesn't really though. Do you see the difference between when Mr. Stevens was here last year and this year?
Yeah.
His
Mr.
behavior.
Stevens was better.
He didn't do it to scare you. He did it to make sure that everyone was
And now he's like
respectful. Yeah. So, anybody else have anything to add to this, or how their image changed from middle school to when they actually got here?
I think in middle school you have a naivety about you, you expect things to stay constant, whereas in high school everything changes. We expected our group of 7 people to stay our group, and then people moved and people did things, and it just changed. So you don't exactly have the same things that you did in middle school.
You have different friends and different experiences.